Good afternoon, Atlanta. Veterans Today is back on WCEG Network. We are starting our new season of Veterans Today in the WCEG Network family. I'm Herman Anderson. My co-host Anthony Aiken is back. We are the Worldwide Community Empowerment Group. Uh, you can watch us and listen to us several ways at WCEGradio.com, WCEG Radio, uh, WCEG Talk Radio. We are live streamed on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at WCEG _ Talk _ Radio. I'm Herman Anderson, one of the co-hosts, Anthony Aiken, my other co-host. How are you today, my friend?
Herman, it is so good to see you. It's good to be back. I mean, we've taken a little hiatus to do some things, traveling, being with family, and COVID, and all those scenarios. But I just like to say it's good to be back. I want to welcome all veterans around the world, all of our fraternity brothers, family members, and friends to take part in our program and be an active participant as we bring news of importance to our listeners worldwide. So it's good to be back, Herman.
Well, we'll get started. We'll have a guest about 12:15. As you mentioned, and today is as we start out the next season, we are going to continue to focus on what we've been doing, helping veterans get their benefits and going through all of the bureaucratic red tapes and that we need to do also to maintain perseverance for veteran benefits and their families. And we also going to talk about, I got a question while we were on leave, is how should the American people recognize veterans and their families? And so we're going to talk about that. That's one of the reasons is we are having not the 9/11 observance, and we're not calling it a celebration, we're calling it observance because we are recognizing first responders and their families.
Well, you hit on one key word that is paramount to you and I, and that's perseverance. We persevere. And we persevere through all types of scenarios. You being an Air Force veteran, I'm an Army veteran, and our good friend Gustavo Juliao, who's not with us today, being an Army veteran, we understand what perseverance is all about. And our goal has always been to provide accurate, timely information to veterans and their family members so they can receive the benefits that they've earned, not something that's been being given to them, but something that they've earned for their dedicated services to these United States. And we can go back in the various military campaigns and find out about veterans that have lost their lives, have come back with PTSD and Agent Orange syndromes and amputations, you name it, all various types of disabilities. So we want to make sure that they know and understand the roots in the VA system to help them get the compensations that they've earned to protect themselves and to protect their families.
Two items that happened while we were on vacation are the Camp Lejeune Act, and the other one is the PAC Act. That is some additional opportunities for veterans and their families to acquire the benefits that's long deserved.
It's kind of appalling, and I'm sure you feel the same way about people at Camp Lejeune and what they had to endure. My bloodline, your bloodline, and not only Camp Lejeune, but we can go to Flint, Michigan, and we can go to several other locations where individuals were exposed to toxins, unclean water, unsafe conditions, and we're just getting to really coming to a head where these individuals can get some compensations. And we're in the year 2022. And we're talking about Montfort Marines back at Camp Lejeune back in the 40s. So, you know, more than 50 years ago. So to me, it's appalling. Yes, it's being done, but that's something we need to continue to push forward on, not only at Camp Lejeune, but all the other military bases that are having issues. Right now, another thing that's very hot that's really not being talked about is sexual assault on females in the military. That is huge. And we need to get these individuals out of place to, you know, to take care of those things, you know?
Well, that's true. And the second one is adding to Agent Orange. And I mean, we have people that's my age, that's a Vietnam era veterans, and they're not receiving any benefits, or if they are receiving benefits, they're not receiving 100% of their benefits because the system is so difficult to navigate to acquire your benefits.
I agree. You know, and I've had so many veterans just like you to say to me, well, I don't want to move forward because I might be taking benefits from someone else. Bull, you've earned it. You put boots on the ground, jumped out of airplane, lived on the ground, got caught Korean hemorrhagic fever, done all those kinds of things. So we need to know, and they need to know, that there's an avenue that they've earned, that blank check that was promised for them to be a part of the VA system for the benefits and compensation that they've earned.
Thank you very much. Anthony, I believe we have a guest. Would you like to tell us about him?
Well, it looked like we may have Ricky Lewis, who is the grand bosses of Omega Psi Phi. And Ricky Lewis is an outstanding young man out of the state of California. But one reason I'm sure he's involved with it because of the number of Omega men that are in the military. And he's been a big supporter, not only of me and you, and now he's our leader. And I'm sure that he will help us get the message out to veterans that are Omegas to make sure that they follow through and receive the benefits and compensation that they've earned in services. Are you there, Grand Bosses Lewis?
Hey, Brother Aikens, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. It's so good for you to be online with us. And believe it or not, the gentleman sitting next to me is an Omega man too.
Hey, Brother Anderson, how are you?
I'm doing good, Grand Bosses. I'm Omega man. I'm 52 years Omega man. So glad to have you on the program.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Brother Aikens invited me, and I want to pop in and say, one, thank everybody for their service. As the Grand Bosses, I'm on here to help any way I can. We got thousands and thousands of brothers who served in the military, have served, are veterans, and still serving. My son is a captain in the military, in the Army as well. So I certainly have an affinity to brothers who serve. And Brother Aikens, I'm just on to listen, and whatever I could do to help move the needle and be successful, that's what I'm here for.
Well, I want our listeners to know that under your leadership and guidance, we just had our Grand Conclave in Charlotte, North Carolina. And which was so impressive to us is that you had the Secretary of the Army to come to a program geared towards veterans that are Omegas. That was the first time ever that the Omega Psi Phi fraternity had the Secretary of the Army to come to our Grand Conclave, even though years ago when I was a young captain at Fort Benning, Clifford Alexander, an Omega man, was the first African-American to be Secretary of the Army. So I wanted our listeners to know that our leader, Grand Bosses Ricky Lewis, was deeply involved in supporting veterans that have served, and you would help us be a conduit to make sure that the veterans in Omega Psi Phi understand the importance of receiving benefits and compensation from the VA.
Absolutely right. That's what I'm here for. We have a wide swath of information we can send out. We got mechanisms to send it out. So whatever we can do to get information out to brothers who are veterans, get all the resources they can need, and get all the compensation that they deserve. That's what we're here for, Brother Aikens and Brother Anderson. Just let me know what I need to do to help.
Absolutely, we'll do that.
We definitely will. And as we were discussing when you came on, Anthony and myself have a passion for helping veterans get the benefits that they have earned, and we will welcome all of the platforms and the opportunities to involve active veterans, and also to encourage veterans and their families that are not really in the system to get in the system, because they, as one of Anthony's favorite saying is, freedom is not free. So we pay the price for the opportunity.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Freedom is not free. Herman has served in Vietnam, and he's president of a nonprofit organization called Veterans Helping Veterans. I'm a disabled veteran, and I have a nonprofit called Visually Impaired Veterans of America. And we do everything in our power to share information to veterans to help them with a variety of illnesses. Herman, under his organization, have veterans that experience all kinds of diseases as they're associated with being in Vietnam. And tomorrow, under the leadership of his organization, will be a salute to 9/11, and I'll be the keynote. I'll be the keynote speaker for that tomorrow, and I got to give a big salute. I don't do that often to the Air Force guys, but I'll give it to them. And but tomorrow I'm excited about the opportunity to share some thoughts about the importance of what first responders do. And many of them are former military, retired military, and what they do to help save our nation. So I'm excited about that. And we're going to have a guest on today right after you, Grand Bosses, to talk a little bit about the program. But, Herman and I have been doing this about 7 years now. And we have listeners worldwide. And we really are dedicated to what we do. We don't get paid for this. This is something that we do with the desire to help and serve others. That's what we do.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What my organization does and what I focus on is veterans, encouraging veterans to become active in pursuing their benefits and opportunities. And we also deal with a lot of veterans that are underserved, meaning that they don't have the information, access to a lot of the veteran service organization. As I'm sure you are aware, there are the big six, which we are talking about: American Legion, DAV, VFW, Vietnam Veterans of America, and a couple more. Those are the big ones that really has a lot of clout in Washington. And there are a lot of other veterans, nonprofit organizations that are serving veterans, but it's more difficult to get our claims and information through because of the bureaucracy of the system. So we work on that, and we help quite a few veterans navigate the system.
One thing about this, it's in the 7 years we've been doing this, we've seen victories, and the victories are that we have individuals who have listened to our show, were unaware of things that they can do, and then many of us have told us we motivate them to move forward. And that's what it's all about. Sometimes you just need a nudge. Sometimes you just need to have someone to tell a story. And that's why, like Herman did his thing with the Veterans Helping Veterans, but I did the same thing with Visually Impaired Veterans of America because I became visually impaired. I didn't know that was going to come on. But one thing I learned, like you did, Grand Bosses and Brother Herman, is that we persevere. When it gets tough, it get tougher. We understand what needs to be done to get to that end point. So when we come on this show, we do our research. We're extremely passionate. We reach out to others and we help to motivate and to get them to do what they need to do, not only to help themselves, but to help their families and to help other veterans who may not be as informed.
Well, that's
We
good
invite-
news, bro. Aiken. Again, I'm on board to help any way I can.
We invite you to stay on as long as you would like to. I see that Audrey is available, so we're gonna ask Vivian to let her in, and we will. She will talk about our event tomorrow.
Yeah, Grand Boss will stay on too, because you'll be able to hear a lot about this program tomorrow that I will be taking a part in. Welcome, ma'am. Can you hear us?
Hello. Yes, I had to unmute myself. How are you doing today?
Welcome.
Good afternoon, Audrey. Just tell us who you are and what you do, and then go into what we're planning tomorrow, if you don't mind, please.
All right. My name is Audrey Senegal. I'm with the City of Riverdale Town. And what we're doing tomorrow is having an observance for our first responders for September 11th. So we will have, when I do
Can you hear
we will
us?
have,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit.
You're a little low.
Yeah, give me just 1 second so that I can actually do it better. All right, can you hear me? Is it
Much
better?
better. Much better.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right, so with our September 11th event is observance for our first responders. Last year we had our 20th year anniversary of the September 11th event. And so this year we will be, Veterans Help the Veterans have actually stepped up and to take lead on this event. So we will be observing our first responders by having a small presentation, but we'll have you as a guest speaker. And then we'll have some of our city and local officials to be a part of the event, along with Jonesboro ROTC, and then also our firefighters just as well. We were looking to have at least 100 people to attend this event. And then Veterans Help the Veterans will be providing lunch also.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, as I said earlier on the show, ma'am, that Herman and I do a lot of research. And as a result of him asking me to participate in this, I jumped in it with both feet and had the opportunity to speak with some leaders there in Riverdale.
Okay.
One being Lieutenant Daynard, who's a former fire chief, and then also Chaplain Mercer, who's sort of like the conscience of the Riverdale Fire Department and throughout Fulton County. So it has really been exciting for me to be able to talk to these men about something that we all share, and that's a passion to save and help others.
Yes.
So I'm just geeked that my frat brother Herman asked me to participate in something like this, and now meeting you, it's going to be a great day.
Yes, it will definitely.
And we want to let our audience know that we will be streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. The WCEG network family will be there. So it's going to be great. And Anthony has, like I say, he's always prepared. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, preparation comes from a desire to be successful.
True.
And for someone that's not prepared, then you can't expect a good outcome. That came from my parents, neither of which graduated from high school in the Deep South. but something that they instilled in me that you can always be a success regardless of your background.
True.
So understanding that, again, going back to the hypothesis of Herman asking me and moving through this, I'm excited. I've done my research and I'm prepared.
Okay.
We also want to let people know that we, through Eventbrite, we're asking you to sign up and let us know so we have a head count. And we have put the link out, but we'll post it again after the show, the Eventbrite link. So please go to Eventbrite, sign up, and we are looking forward to a great observance of first responders. And I actually, it so happened that I got a question this week from someone else regarding recognition of veterans and their families and how we should celebrate holidays. And I actually gave them a written response, and I'm just gonna read it. I would like the community to understand that veterans and their family pay the price for our freedom. Freedom is not free. Therefore, during the celebration and observance of military recognition days is a good time to educate and inform the community how to treat and serve veterans.
That's very good, Herman. That's timely. It's on point. And I can tell that there's passion with you. You got to have passion. Whatever you try to do for it to become a success. I read something this morning that was very interesting from a young lady of age 21. And she stated that for you to be successful, you have to have a plan. And generally we call it plan A. But we always hear about plan B. But plan B is for the possibility of plan A not working. I've always been in that line. You can prepare yourself as much as possible, but always be ready for the unexpected. And that's what first responders do. They run into a particular scenario. They don't know what they're running into, but they know they got to be there. But they always have to be prepared for a plan B if plan A doesn't work to help someone live. So that's what's another great thing about this, is to be able to share information about those individuals that have that passion to serve. And there are a variety of reasons why they do that. And I'll bring some of that out tomorrow in my message to during my talk.
Okay, a couple other items. Our time tomorrow is from 11 to 2, and as we say, and as we say, we are going to be live streaming, and we also going WCEG Network family is going to be there live, so we will provide the opportunity for some first responders to express their opinion on our platform, and we'll scream it live. So that's an opportunity. We invite people, first responders and their families, to come out and enjoy the observance, but also speak up and let the community know how we should observe them and how they feel about veterans and serving, helping. This is not Veterans Day. This is a veteran organization that is observing first responders and their families, which a lot of them are veterans. So that is great.
Yeah, they're sort of like paramilitary folks, Ms. Senegal. You know, a lot of them have served. A lot of them have that passion. And if you think about a fire department, police department, EMSs, they're almost like a cohort unit. I mean, they're together. They live together, work together, play together, sleep together, do all that kind of thing, so they can work as one, a unit, a machine. So when they do get into a scenario, All that battalion commander, that battalion chief has to say, lieutenants, do your thing. Number one, save lives. Number two, save the property if you can. And number three, find the cause of that particular accident or occurrence. So that's what it's about. Same scenario we use in the military. So I'm excited to be talking to some of these paramilitary types that we call first responders.
Well, thank you. You have anything else you would like to inform us about? I know we have the program and it's pretty much set. So, and the main thing is we invite people to go to Eventbrite and sign up. So we are ready to go.
Yes, we are definitely.
Okay, man, well, we'll see you tomorrow. We appreciate you very much coming on.
All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow. Okay?
No problem. Thank you. I look forward to meeting you in person.
Okay, thank you.
All right, bye.
So Herman, on tomorrow, you'll be doing the, you're the lead of the program, so I'm sure that everything is in line because that's the way you are, pretty methodical in doing things. But I'm very happy that you're doing this.
Thank you.
I really am. I'm really excited about veterans helping veterans, taking the lead for something that is still horrific in many of our minds, even though it's 21 years ago.
Well, that's true, and I think people, it affected all of us, but first responders, families that had someone that affected them directly. I have the feeling that, like Audrey said, last year was the 20th anniversary of it, and so we are maintaining the observance of it. But my take on it is that first responders and their families don't want to turn it into a celebration. It's more of a serious observance.
Sure, and I agree. There's still people still hurting and will be hurting forever because of loved ones that will never be with us again. I've not gone to New York yet to see the monument commemorating those that lost their lives, those heroes, as I call them, that lost their lives. But 9/11 is only one snapshot of what first responders deal with every day. 9/11, it has more visibility because it happened in New York at the time. But we can go to Charleston, South Carolina, my hometown, where 22 firemen lost their lives trying to save a building where the roof collapsed on them. And there were 22 lives gone forever. That's 22 physical lives. But look at the extensions and the family members that died from that, are still dealing with those deaths. Are the firemen for all the fires in California? Gosh, that's every year. Are the catastrophes from Katrina or some other hurricane or tornado? First responders are there. They're dealing with something every day. Yes, so well, 9/11 is the capstone, but let's keep in mind that these first responders are on the front line every day.
Well, they are. In today's environment, it's current. It almost like current event, because dealing with the shootings that we have, the mass shootings at events and at schools, it's with us every day.
Every day. So when an individual says to you and I, thank you for your service, we can flip that right around to the first responders and say, thank you for your service and being there in the time of need. In the time of need, when you, wow. Just think about something, Herman, and our listeners out there. Earlier this week or last week, we saw in the news, or heard on the news, of the CEO of Bed Bath & Beyond, for whatever scenario he was in, jumped out of a building 18 stories to his death. Who had to deal with that? And
First
picking up
responder.
his remains? First responders, firemen, police department, 911 dispatcher, all were involved with that one act. And it will resonate through that entire system for a long time. So when we say to someone, thank you for your service, mean it. Because they're the ones who are there on the front line dealing with unfortunate scenarios, the front line. You know, and it's something that to me hits me to the core.
Well, that is true. And as we move forward and continue to deal with it, it's a situation that's as far as our democracy and as far as veterans, we as we talk about community involvement and empowering the community, it's this thing that I think we need to put out going forward is how we can get more of the community, veterans, non-veterans, and their family involved in understanding democracy, also understanding veterans and their families, because as I have said before, less than 1% of the United States population actually served in the military. So people that did serve and their families are a unique group. And the question that I asked before is, how should the community acknowledge that is something that I think veteran organizations and other organizations is a challenge to us to inform the community how to educate and understand what the military is all about and what military families are all about.
Well, Herman, you couldn't have said any better, because the number one thing about a first responder is communicator, being a communicator. And organizations like ours, we need to communicate to the community, just like you stated, their importance. We have to be that sounding block. That's why it's so important for me and for you to have our grand bosses of our fraternity online, because we have Omega Men worldwide.
We do.
We have Omega Men that are military retirees and personnel worldwide. We're just one snapshot of the Divine Nine. But as our leader, he's there to help. He stated that on a number of occasions to me personally. That's why I invited him, because I believe in him. I will support him to the nth degree. And I want him to know that we request his support and making sure that the word gets out, that we need to take care of veterans. We need to make sure that veterans are aware of the benefits and compensations. And we need to also let our listeners know that Omega Psi Phi is behind first responders, EMS personnel, and everybody else that supports this nation.
Great. And let's ask him, so far, Brother Graham Bostos, listening to our conversation, what thoughts or advice do you have to us?
I would say a couple of things. One, I appreciate the outreach. I think Brother Aiken said, I'm one of 9 members of Divine Nine. Our outreach goes to 2.5 million members. I can imagine there has to be a lot of military in the other 8, a lot of military in the sororities and other fraternities. So one, this outreach is good. 2, you're talking to the leader of Omega Psi Phi fraternity. So, from this desk, I have an outreach. And 3, we got to let folks know how important it is for veterans to get all the resources they need and get what they deserve. And how you do that, you do it through communication. We got TikTok, we got Instagram, we got Facebook. I know a lot of veterans not on that, but people who know veterans on that may be able to help out. So I think those 3 things that Brother Anderson, I think is important today in terms of what I heard.
Thank you, sir.
You're right on line with that,
Sir.
Brother Grant. And, you know, for years, Omega has always been out there with the military. You can take a look at our past articles and you can see highlighting on then Colonel Young, but now Brigadier General Young. And, you know,
Right.
for us to have at our Grand Conclave, the Surgeon General of the United States Army, a 3-star general, fraternity brother, that was significant. A 2-star general, Abe Turner, who grew up with me in South Carolina, to be there was significant. And all the others that I've known in my 26 years of active duty, it was very significant to be in that room, listening to the Secretary of the Army, not only highlighting the importance of what Omegas did under your leadership and past Grand Bossel's leadership of getting Colonel Young elevated to the rank of Brigadier General. Just imagine the PTSD he suffered when he was at West Point for 4 years and no one even spoke to him. But he succeeded. But he succeeded. Or for him to take a horse ride for miles to commemorate the suffering that soldiers dealt with in the military. So I appreciate your leadership. I appreciate you being a voice for us and letting the other Divine Nine members know that Omega Psi Phi has taken the lead. And we're going to make sure that everything's out there to make sure that veterans, especially Omega veterans and family members, understand the benefit, understand getting their benefits and compensation for their service.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay. So, Anthony, let's, since we've been on hiatus and we're back, a couple of things that basically we talk about is to all our veterans is getting involved in, we started out by letting veterans know that if they're in the system or if they're not in the system, you need your paperwork in order to deal with claims, benefit claims, and other disabilities. Also included in that is dealing with a topic that's unpleasant with a lot of people, is burial. So basically, when we started, when Anthony and I started this program, one of the basic items that we talked about is your separation paper, which is your DD 214, which you need to, if you call the VA or if you go see a veteran service officer, that is the first piece of documentation they're going to ask you for. So,
right. The DD Form 214 and Grand Bosses, if you don't mind, Brother Herman and I will get together and we would like to write an article for the Oracle, not only highlighting the Veterans a Day program, but some of the key issues that we need Omega men that are veterans to understand the importance of getting things done. So with your approval, we'd like to move forward with developing that article and submitting it to the Oracle for brothers worldwide to read.
Absolutely. I would say 1, develop it. 2, if you can run it past me, Bro Aikens, let us take a look at it in whatever way we need to do to get this out. We got the Oracle, we got Fatherhood and Mentoring newsletter, we got Constant Contact. So we got a lot of mechanisms to get the word out.
Fantastic. Appreciate your approval of Grand Bosses. And
Sure.
we know it's an early time for you out there in California.
Yes, sir. Hey, it's still morning time here. Y'all in the afternoon back in Eastern time zone.
You just ready to have your pancakes and bacon. We're at lunchtime now. You know what I mean?
Well, I wanted to take a few minutes out to jump on because I have another call at 10 my time. But I want to say just thank y'all, man. Thank you for your service. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for your advocacy. Thank you for making folks aware. And we appreciate you, man. We're going to be praying for you. You got access to the Grand Bosses now, so don't hesitate. Don't think you're bugging me.
You know,
you got access to the Grand Bosses. Just let me know. Bro Anderson, give me your number real quick.
770
Yes, sir.
547-7347.
Do you text?
I do, sir.
All right, good. I'll text you my information.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's man. He's a Savannah State guy, and
Oh, yes, sir.
yeah, so he's a 7D. But we're looking forward to seeing you in Tuskegee for homecoming, and
I can't wait for it, bro.
Okay, looking
I
forward to
can't
it.
wait for it.
See you then.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all be good, brother.
Take care.
All right, bye now.
Bye. So Herman, we
Yes, sir.
had the creme de la creme. From both, from Fayetteville, from Riverdale and Omega Psi Phi. So kudos to you for this particular subject. Kudos to you for your two things, brotherhood and friendship. And that's something that we have to the bond. You know I love you. And we work hard for the good of all.
Well, we do, and I thank you for accepting my asking you to be the keynote speaker. And like from our discussion, you already prepared. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, understand the rules of engagement. That's what we're all about. Not only with WCEG Talk Radio, and since I just mentioned that, the two ladies that provide us unbelievable support. First, our leader, Penny Rogers, who started this mustard seed 7+ years ago, and she asked you and I to come together, and we did. Nervous young men at the time, very nervous to figure out what we wanted to do, but it has evolved. And then we have Ms. Greer. We couldn't do it without her technical support or motivation to keep us online and on time. So with those two behind us, they're the foundation for our success. And I know you join me in saying thank you to both of them.
I join you into saying thank you to both of them. I also want to recognize that Vivian is a veteran.
Yep, she is. Make sure you recognize she's an Army veteran.
All right.
It's all good though, but it's just about we're Hua people. That's all I can say. We're Hua people, and it's fun. You know what I mean?
We are, and we still got a little bit of time left. So into today's environment and into we're non-partisan. So but we have the election coming up, and we have a lot going on. So current event wise, what hot topic is on your mind?
Well, right now, my hot topics here in Atlanta and probably in some other areas is the potential closing, no, not potential, but the closing of Wellstar Hospital on 1 November, and what type of effect that will have on veterans and their families, especially the old Atlanta Medical Center, that part of town, and how's that going to affect that community? For those veterans that need support for suicide prevention or various illnesses associated with being in the military, but now that's gone. And how long would it take for another medical system to come in place if they're going to bring in one? Because we already know that the VA hospital is overwhelmed, and we already know that that VA hospital has some challenges to make sure that they move from a #1 rating to a #5 rating, because they've had so many leadership changes over there. So the hot topic for me right now is medical care, medical support for veterans and their families with this particular medical system leaving the state of Georgia.
Well, you're exactly right. And in September is Suicide Prevention Month also.
Correct. And the numbers 4 years ago was like 25 a day. Now let's put pandemic on top of that. Let's put a loss of jobs on top of that. Let's put on all kinds of medical issues associated with the pandemic, COVID-19 on top of that. I believe that number is higher now. It's much higher. And I can tell you from my research, and I'm stealing a little thunder from my talk tomorrow, but if you take a look at the nationwide average, the #1 killer of first responders is suicide. Suicide. And that's something, that we have to keep in mind, that PTSD is just not for people in the uniform. Those first responders that are going there to these accidents because they're the ones charging on. There's still vivid photos in my memory of when 9/11 happened, and these individuals were running towards the disaster, first responders. I mean, they were covered in soot. They were covered in dust. They were covered in muck, but they were there. They were there. And how can we not remember them? How can we not salute them? It would be appalling if we didn't.
Well, that's true. And it's, as they say, great minds work together. As you brought up suicide, and I had Dr. Cooper at the VA, Dr. Cooper.
Yes.
He had sent me an announcement to make in Hawaii, and I just pulled it up. So let me let our audience know that the VA does good things, and it's sometimes everything's not good. But this, let me just read you Dr. Cooper's announcement. In the spirit of Suicide Prevention and Recovery Month, together with Reach Out, which is a VA outreach program, September the 14th at the Arcadia Clinic in Decatur, Georgia, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. The VA Reach Out program is having a walk to recognize suicide prevention and encourage veterans and their families to work to help prevent suicide.
Anything we can do to help prevent suicide is important. We can go back to when Senator Isaacson, when he was alive, putting together the Suicide Prevention Act based on one act of a young Marine in Houston, Texas, who refused to be given additional pills without any type of interaction to help him deal with whatever scenario he was dealing with. And as a result, took his life. We can talk about the Marine here in Atlanta, Marine Colonel, that put on his dress blues and went to the VA hospital parking lot and took his life because he was not getting the support that he needed. So anything we can do, anything that we can say, any intervention, any interaction we can do, we're obligated to do that to help protect that particular veteran and eventually protect the veteran's family.
Along those lines is along with community recognition in education is voter education. Veterans vote at a high level. My question is, are we educating ourselves in voting for and doing our research on the candidates, in voting for the candidates that has the best interest of the veteran in their vision and plan?
Well, that's a very key point, because we need to hold our elected officials accountable. And the only way you're going to hold them accountable is to be involved and to go to these forums and these community talks and to listen and to ask direct questions. What is your plan? Or what are your thoughts about supporting veterans and to help them with their needs? Making sure that they're accountable is the key thing. And we must be open and honest to make sure that they know that their constituents, us, you and I, are watching and we're listening and observing what's going on. So voting is paramount. It is the #1 thing that we have given to us that we can use to make change for good. We got to do that. And we need to continue on this radio show to be that outreach, to talk about voting rights, community education, and everything else to help the veteran and our listeners know the importance of their vote.
I totally agree. In this, we are between now and November, the first Tuesday in November, we will be making a lot of decisions, and I encourage everyone to go out and vote and participate.
And they got to also keep in mind too, and I can only speak a little bit about some of the states and the politics going on in the states. In Georgia, we had the last governor's race, a person that was Secretary of State, still holding that position, running for governor. Now, who validates the voting? The Secretary of the State, okay? And Stacey Abrams did not win. Then we had a national election of which the incumbent president did not win, but he wanted the Secretary of State in Georgia to find him 11,000 votes. And they've come up with all kinds of other angles now where you can't give water if somebody in line. They've redistricted. They've done a lot of things in the 4 years. My point is this: don't sit at home and not get out there to vote. That is your right to vote. And
Well,
that's the only way you're going to make change.
I totally agree. And I have two items that that's important to me is down ballot voting. I mean, it's like you say, you not only vote for senator and president or governor, but you vote for Secretary of State, you vote for state representative, you vote for county representative, city councilman, and it's really, it starts at the ground level and raises up.
Yep.
No, to in the environment we're in now, there's based on the past administration in his party is they are, their philosophy is state power, state authority. So the states, each state like Georgia, North Carolina, Wyoming, Wisconsin, the state has a lot of power in making laws that affect people within their state. And there's the issue is I'm not going to go into it, but the abortion issue. I mean, it's more than an issue. It's a priority. It's a right that the American public has a challenge to decide how we would like that personal freedom taken care of, and make sure that we have a choice.
That's like Teddy Pendergrass say, wake up everybody, no more sleeping in bed. You got to get up and vote. I mean, these individuals are playing games because in most cases, they believe people are not informed, they don't read, and they don't follow through in taking care of initiatives. Don't sit in the background and complain if you've not used your right to vote, because your vote counts. I don't care. Your vote counts. We've had people to die, many people to die just over crazy voting issues, gerrymandering laws. all kinds of laws. You mean guess how many pennies are in this container for you to vote? Come on. I mean, all kinds of silly things that have occurred in the past. But now we're an informed group of people. This is 2022. Don't sit back and say you don't know. As the Grand Boss said earlier, there's Instagram, there's all kinds, you name it, there's all kinds of social media out there. So for those of you that are on social media all the time, it's not Spotify, Pandora, or Ceres. It's getting on some of those sites where you can learn and understand what's going on that's going to affect you, your family, your children, your community, everything. Voting. Get out to vote.
Well, with that, we are almost out of time, and I'm going to remind our audience to please come to Riverdale tomorrow at 11 a.m. to listen to a great presentation by my friend, my frat brother, co-host Anthony C. Aiken, in observance of the first responders. So we want to give thanks again to our founder and our producer, Vivian, Penny Rogers, and the entire WCEG network family.
Well, Herman, you couldn't say it any better. And there's one other thing that I think we need to mention, and it's in regards to women's rights. You know, we had Roe versus Wade gone. Now we got the abortion issues, and what about the reproductive rights of women? There's so many things on board. It's just not about abortion. It's about women's rights, reproductive rights, sexual abuse, all these kinds of things. So we need to keep our females at the forefront as much as anything else, because they serve just like the men.
Also, WCEG Network is a 501c3 nonprofit. We will gladly accept your donation. I will ask you to go to our website, WCEGradio.com or WCEGtalkradio.com. The number to call to contact to make your donation is available at that website. So please keep us in your thoughts.
Herman, great show. Great seeing you again, my friend. Thank you very much for your friendship and your brotherhood. And I look forward to seeing you in the next show.
See you tomorrow. We're going to do the next show in 2 weeks, but we're going to do our program tomorrow. And we're inviting everybody to participate live. If not, we're live streaming. So we invite everyone that's on our voice to participate.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
You're welcome, and our time is up.
I salute you, my brother.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.